Hey there, Taylor Elwood here, business wizard for eccentric entrepreneurs, and today I want to talk about what processes and systems are in business and why you need them in order for your business to be successful. And I want to note that if you look below, there's a link to a blog article which I've written, which basically talks about how to stop running your business by reaction and start running it by design. So this video is featured there, so go check that article out. And of course, you can also grab my Grow Your Business by Design workbook, which is also featured in that article. And that's a free lead magnet. Anyway, let's get to the topic. So what are systems and processes, and why do you need them for your business? Look, a lot of business owners set a business up and they don't take the time to really think about what systems and processes they need to have in order to run that business successfully. A system is basically something which describes the way the business should run, the way it ought to run. So for example, you may have a marketing system, and that marketing system basically encapsulates every single process that happens when you are marketing your business. The same thing applies to, say, your customer service or customer experience. You're going to have a customer experience system, and that customer experience system basically describes what happens when you, at point A, when you first get a customer, all the way to point Z, where you're dealing with a customer complaint, or you're trying to retain that customer and keep them happy and in a place where they're continuing to do business with you. Um, so realistically, when you own a business, you have systems. You just may not know that they're systems, and they may not be very well defined systems. What I see happen with a lot of business owners is they have poorly defined business systems in place. You know, they get up and they run their business as a day-by-day operation or as a launch-by-launch operation, and they're kind of waiting for things to happen, but they're not really proactively planning their business by design, and they're not setting up their systems so that they effectively serve them. And when we look at setting up systems, what we have to look at are the processes. The processes are the actions that occur in your system. But the processes also describe the way those actions ought to occur, and they basically systematize the actions. They make the actions consistent. So, you know, if customer A comes in and they've got a problem, and customer B comes in and they have a problem, both of them should ideally be treated in a similar way. Now, of course, there are going to be things that are going to be a little different. I mean, customer A's problem may be entirely different from customer B's problem, but at least the initial process should be run in such a way that both customer and A and B feel respected and taken care of, and you know, the solution to whatever solution it is that's arrived at is done in a similar manner. The same thing with like your marketing or your sales processes. You know, you're going to have processes that describe, here's how I'm going to attract a client, here's the things that I'm going to do, here's what I need to consider if I'm doing a live stream video, what do I need to schedule, what words should I be using, how should I set stuff up so that I get more viewers. Where do I want these viewers to go? These are all things that need to be thought about when developing your business. And a lot of times what happens is that people will, you know, they'll go and they'll start a business up, and they'll put some thought into their business processes and systems, but they won't have them very well mapped out. A good example would be a client I had who was an accountant. You know, he was great at taking care of his customers, but the one thing that he didn't have set up in place to help him be very successful with his business is he didn't have systems or processes in place. So he had a staff where people were basically stepping on each other's toes, where things weren't getting done. There was no clarity about who was responsible for what or why. And there was no clarity about why a process should be done a specific way versus being done just any old way that the person wanted to do it. And once he started setting up systems and putting processes into place, the people in the office became a lot more focused and a lot happier because they were no longer stepping on each other's toes. Instead, they were focusing in on the work they needed to do. and the work was getting processed seamlessly. And the customers, as a result, were much happier because they weren't dealing with excuses. Instead, they were seeing progress and hearing things that they needed to hear in order to help them run their business better. And so this is a good example of what happens when you have a system and process in place that's well defined. The system basically describes the entirety of the operation, and the processes help you flesh out the actual operation and understand who's responsible for what and what they need to be doing. And this is why we need systems and processes in place in our business. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't take the time to flesh those out and describe them. And so they just kind of do them haphazardly. And then what ends up happening is they get overwhelmed when something else comes their way. It's like keeping your business in your head. You know, if you have a business plan but you only have it in your head, guess what? Something can come along, a crisis or whatever else can come along that totally uproots that business and puts you off into a tailspin. But when you actually take the time to map out what is supposed to be happening at each given stage of your business, what ends up happening is that you start to develop a systematic approach, a strategic approach that lets you grow your business consistently. And that's what we really want. We want to grow our business strategically and systematically. All right, so that's why you need business processes and systems. And if you have any questions, feel free to comment below and leave those, or respond in the blog and comment there. Love to hear from you. And check out the Grow Your Business by Design workbook, which can help you start developing your business plan that will help you grow your business by design. All right, talk soon and take care.